So, what is going on, guys? This is Ryan here.
And this is other Ryan here.
And today we're going to be talking about something which is pretty spectacular to say the least. On scottgames.com there has been a new update on the website's homepage, and it's released a little bit of intel and a new picture which is, wow, I mean, it allows for a lot of speculation. Me and Ryan here, we've been thinking about some ideas and we have a lot of information on this.
Well, definitely.
So, alright, we're going to start by just showing you a couple of things, of course, that we've theorised, and we've got some pretty bulletproof evidence here, guys. Of course, you don't have to agree. This is all theoretical. But I'm just going to start by showing you a few things. So over here, we can see we have the mask, alright? And the mask originally, it only shows half of his face. But as you can see here, as I pan over, I actually mirrored the face, and it's quite disturbing what we can see here. We can actually see the other half of the face, and it actually looks quite... It's quite bizarre, really. It actually looks almost like it was meant to be mirrored. The eyes initially, they're slightly looking off to the side, and when you mirror it, it actually looks like it's looking directly at the camera. So that, of course, is quite strange, and that's only the beginning. Right, we're going to get into a few more topics right now.
Okay, so this is, well, first of all, we need to know who the actual picture is of. I thought straight away it's Golden Freddy, because when you brighten it up and put the contrast up, it turns golden. The picture turns golden.
Yeah, I have to agree on this one, actually. It took a little bit of thinking initially, but if you look at the way the material on this guy is, you can definitely see there's elements of specularity, like right here. You know, the material is shiny. It's quite clearly something that's either a very shiny yellow, or it's most certainly golden. So I think we're going to come to the conclusion it's pretty much a golden colour.
Pretty much, yeah. And obviously, if you look at the eyes there, they look very human. It's a very human pair of eyes, you could say. So this could mean that the suit's still empty, and well, this leads me on to another point with which people believe the third game to be based in the future, whereas I believe it's, well, me and Ryan both believe it's set in the present day.
Possibly in the present. Before we get too much into that,
yeah,
there's a few more things just I think we should pick up on the character design.
Yeah.
Just a couple of features on this guy, which is actually going to definitely lead on into that. So I'm going to begin by pointing out something which is quite obvious. To begin with, we've got some teeth down here. Now, what makes these teeth a bit more interesting is the fact that they are actually bloodstained. And if you look at these guys here, you can see that each of these has got some red lines on these, and that can be resembled mostly, I think, to blood. So I think I'm going to categorize that as blood. What do you think?
Definitely. I mean, I didn't see that until you actually pointed it out, and yeah,
it's very easy to miss. I think when you're looking at the eyes really do take over, because that's clearly a key element of what Scott wanted to portray through this picture. And another thing here, I'm actually going to circle this guy for later. I want you guys to see this here, and I want you to take account into this. Alright, so back to the eyes. We're actually going to look at a few more elements of these which look a bit unusual. You can see around this area here, we've got this almost like, I think they call it the iris. I can't quite remember. It's the in the corner of the eye, and this looks pink, and this almost looks human. Now, this could be rust, which once again leads on to another theory. And I think that's all we can discover on this model right here. I think that's all we've got for now. I think that's enough evidence, though. Yeah. Right, so now we're going to move over into what you were saying before, which is pretty interesting.
Right, well, I was racking my brain as Ryan was telling me about all these, like the bloodstains and that. And I thought back to, when I first saw this image, I first thought back to when the offline symbol on Scott's website was on. There was a load of hidden codes in the website saying only one left and 30 years later. Now, I believe this to be, people believed it was going to be set in the future, like 2017 or 2030. So, not 2030, but they thought that 30 years later literally meant 30 years from this date that we're on now, or the date of the previous diner. But I believe that it's just 30 years later from the previous diner, so from the previous opening of the diner, 30 years from then, and they're just going back. And I still remain, or I remain, is just saying that Golden Freddy is still there, and you need to go there to discover something. that will obviously wrap up the storyline.
Which would make sense. And I think another thing that categorizes that theory as definitely a good one is if we look at this picture once again, looking at the material, back to this, we have a very interesting bump map here, and if you actually leave paint for an extended period of time, it will begin to crack and fray. And what we can see here is we can definitely see this artifact occurring in this image, which is, I mean, it tells us this, doesn't it? It's absolutely, it's crazy.
Well, definitely, yeah. Well, he likes to tell a story through images. That's what he's good at, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we're not presented with much, but look how much we've been able to gather from this.
Exactly.
Alright, and now I want you to explain the portion about the Bite of 87.
Oh, okay, the Bite of 87. So, I thought back to Five Nights at Freddy's 2 when, on night 6, the phone guy says, someone has stole one of the suits, and since then they haven't been acting right. Now, from Five Nights at Freddy's 2, we don't actually know what Golden Freddy looks like. We only know about hallucinations and paranormal sightings of him. There's never actually solid evidence that he's an animatronic himself, because he always disappears. So therefore, I believe that the place that was open before the second one was open, I believe the suit was left there to rot, a golden suit, because we don't actually see a golden suit in the parts and services area. So I believe it to be this one here. And then apparently the day after night 6 is when the Bite of 87 happens. So I believe that this links both to Golden Freddy and the Bite of 87, and this little image that we see here, I believe it has something to do with it.
Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this white circular things that I've just done around the teeth here, and we're going to focus on this little dent here. I believe this little dent in the facial area tells us a lot about something. I don't think I've spoken to you about this. I mean, what do you think about this, or haven't I explained it yet?
Yeah, the little dent it could resemble a bite mark.
I wouldn't say a bite mark, I'd say more an indentation of some kind. It definitely looks, I mean, if we look at the facial detail, I don't know what you'd quite call this, but the, what do they call it on the dogs where their nose and mouth is?
I have no idea.
But you know what I mean, it's generally quite a curved shape, but we have this very dark indentation here. That's showing some kind of dent. Now, could this dent be from killing something of the Bite of 87? Or could this actually tie into night 4 where we hear the phone guy die? Or is that night 5 where we hear that? From Five Nights at Freddy's 1?
It's night 4, I think, when he dies.
Could this tie into that? I mean, this... Well, I mean, I think every theory sounds... I don't know, it's very bulletproof, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's just so many areas you can go with this, and most of them sound correct.
The thing is, when we actually find out what it is when the game's released, it's going to be so obvious to what it was that we'll all be kicking ourselves to what it actually is. Because it's obviously a storyline that he's thought up, and he's only making it seem secretive and mysterious because only he knows the actual storyline, but he's given out facts of certain parts of the storyline. We just can't puzzle it together properly because of that.
Yeah, I think I agree with you as well. Yeah.
It is madness. I mean, just from one little image, I mean, it's sent the internet into a frenzy. It's mad.
He knows what he's doing. He knows how to market his products.
Definitely.
I think the last thing I want to talk about in this video, which might help aid what we're saying just a little bit more, and I'm going to let you expand on this. I'm just going to draw a nice white circular shape around this guy just here. So just under the eye, initially we speculated this might be some kind of blood dripping down the face. I mean, it makes sense. There's 2 eyes in the sockets. If it was forcefully placed in there, we'd have some blood dripping down. But we kind of disagreed on that after a little bit of speculation. I mean, it's a theory and it may stand, but what else could this be?
Well, if you remember Golden Freddy from Five Nights at Freddy's 2, he has wires hanging from his right eye, actually. It's actually hanging from his right eye. So, yeah, I believe it's still wires from where the endoskeleton was originally put in place.
Which, it definitely sounds... I mean... it's all plausible, isn't it?
Yeah. It is one of those. It's one of those where, I don't know, it's crazy.
So I think this is all we got from this image so far. It's immense what we've been able to uncover. Whether or not this is even correct or not, it's just nice to know that us as fans can sit here and do this. And I think, yeah, this image is going to do a lot of talking. I think the website's going to be updated very frequently right now.
Definitely.
I think we're going to learn a lot more about this. And
as we learn, we will put out more videos as to what we know.
of course, we're going to definitely keep this as an ongoing series because we are uncovering some very interesting information. And we do enjoy sharing it with you guys. So I think we are going to actually end this video here. And we hope that we have given you guys some insight into what this image could possibly be or what it could represent. Of course, don't feel shy. Comment your own theories down below. Do not be afraid to disagree. You know, we don't claim any of our things to be set in stone, and we like the idea of different theories which contrast our current ones. Definitely.
So yeah, thanks to you for watching our videos, guys. If you like this content, be sure to like and subscribe, as we'll have plenty more in the future.
Yep. Alright then, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time.
See you later, guys.